Thanks, Zach. Well, as you sit down tomorrow for Thanksgiving dinner, the only worry you're likely to have is just about how you're going to eat.
The notion of whether it is safe to swallow that food probably won't cross your mind, but the thought of someone trying to poison the nation's food supply or at least wreck the U.S. agriculture economy by creating such a scare has the attention of trade associations and government officials. Tonight in a special report, some words of reassurance regarding what's on your table.
In late October, 81-year-old soybean farmer Norman Thompson brought in another crop from the land he's farmed in the Missouri river bottoms for decades. Throughout the growing season, he's on the lookout here for vandals, but terrorists?
Does anybody ever bring it up anymore?
I don't hear much about it.
Do you worry much about it?
Well, some, yes.
Agri-terrorism is not something that I think is on a day-to-day radar, but as your state soybean association, while we certainly hope we never have to implement it, we do have a plan at the state level for how we would respond.
Missouri Soybean Association spokesperson Christine Q says all association staff have undergone ICS, or Incident Command System training.
How information moves up through the system, how it's going to move back out to those folks on the ground, and how you're going to coordinate available resources.
It's been nearly a century since the United States recorded a case of foot and mouth disease in cattle or pigs. But it's happened elsewhere around the globe, and even the suggestion of a new outbreak here could damage America's position in the export market.
25–28% of all the pork we raise in this country goes outside our borders, and so it's a very important economic driver for us.
Following the 9/11 attacks, federal analysts identified agro-terrorism, the deliberate introduction of plant or animal diseases, as a real threat to U.S. national security. A Congressional Research Service report issued a decade ago said killing plants or livestock would be a means to the end of economic damage, social unrest, and a loss of confidence in government.
What's the single biggest risk to our food supply?
Clearly, the introduction of a toxin or some kind of agent that could wipe out entire crops or could actually poison people.
McCaskill this year joined forces with Kansas Senator Pat Roberts on legislation to move the responsibility for food safety from USDA to the Department of Homeland Security. Among other things, the federal government is building a $1.25 billion agro-terrorism research center at Kansas State University.
Making sure we are doing all the testing necessary to prepare for and understand what biologic toxins could do.
It's not just Missouri's 100,000 farms that have a stake in that effort. The $88 billion agriculture industry here includes processors like Berger's Smokehouse in California, which processes and ships thousands of pounds of meat every day. Business owner Stephen Berger has created a food defense team here to identify gaps in security. That leads to security fencing, cameras, and internal locks. Even unfamiliar delivery drivers get extra screening. The concern can only grow as Berger's completes its multi-million-dollar expansion.
We get a lot of our direction on this through the USDA and also through independent third-party audits that have continually raised the bar as it relates to the food security issue.
And while farmers like Norman Thompson might not spend much time thinking about it, the Missouri Department of Agriculture does. New Ag Director Chris Chin won't talk specific security strategies, but says tabletop security exercises are routine.
And from a consumer point of view, as we all get ready to sit down for Thanksgiving dinner, do we have anything to worry about in our food supply?
As a farmer, I can definitely say you don't have any. I feel very secure in the measures that we have in place today, the protocols that USDA takes, FDA, to make sure that we have a safe food supply.
Now, you will find a link to that 2007 Congressional Research Service report on agro-terrorism embedded in this story on our website, krcgtv.com.